Hello, and a very warm welcome to this info session for the TOC Python workshop. My name is Paul, and I'm really delighted to have you present. So I'll be introducing a new workshop today. We had one that this last week, and I'm really excited about what happened. We had a wonderful session where we had a number of people came together to learn from the TOC Python workshop, and we spent the day together. We walked through a number of problems, and I was present throughout to help with tutorial support. So this is just an invitation now for our new workshop, which will be starting, and I'm going to announce the date at the end of this presentation. So stay with me for this 20-minute session as I tell you the ideas behind the TOC Python workshop, why we're using this approach, and how it's going to be beneficial for you. So my name is Paul Career, and I am trained as an electrical engineer from University of Nairobi. So my education is just like most of you from right here within Nairobi. But then I ventured out to the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, where I studied mathematical sciences. And this is really where I picked up Python. And then I have a PhD in computational biology, which was an extension from some of the work that I had done at the AIMS in South Africa. In terms of work, I have worked for a number of companies, starting from Safaricom, which was my first employer. And then I was fortunate to get to Alcatel-Lucent, which is now Nokia Networks. And then I worked as a 3D visualization lead, writing software for 3D visualization, data modeling for image segmentation in Cambridge, United Kingdom. And I currently serve as the director of data science at a nonprofit called data.org. So the backdrop of the reason why I run these workshops is because I'm aware that Africa is becoming of age. And right now, Africa is poised with a huge growing population, which is exciting because it would be lovely to see what comes out of these young people. The picture you see are young people who want to develop their careers and grow. And the question is, where would you be when these young people will be entering the job market? You do not want to be competing with them. You want to be leading them. And the way we accomplish this is by becoming so good that you cannot be ignored, that they can't ignore you. So you want to develop skills, foundational skills, skills which will take you very far into the future. So that really is the purpose behind this. Why Python? Why bother training in Python? Well, you really can't go wrong with Python. It's one of those languages that is so versatile, applied in so many areas and so many domains that you will virtually have application wherever you go. And the good thing about Python, it's a very powerful language, but at the same time, it's also a very simple language. It has a lot of very entry level, easy to learn, simple to pick up skill sets. And Python really is the beginning of your journey, but there are a lot of tool sets that are built around Python, such as numerical Python library, NumPy, there's a scientific Python library, and these are really the workhorses for a lot of the tools that we now see in machine learning and AI. If you want to work in data science, again, Pandas relies on NumPy as a foundational library. If you want to do machine learning with scikit-learn, if you want to do visualization, if you want to do web development with Flask or Django, if you want to get into deep learning with PyTorch or handle big data with PySpark and the Spark libraries, if you want to deal with natural language, if you want to deal with sentence transformers, which are based on the work from deep learning, if you want to do image processing, if you want to work with LLMs, and if you want to work with some of the state-of-the-art tools like Mojo, which is a superset of Python, you really want to get started with a strong foundation in Python. Now, there are tons of coding classes out there. A lot of them really fail. What's the reason that they do? And one of the reasons they fail is because they pack so much in a very short time. Programming is a skill, and developing a skill is like growing grass or growing a tree. It takes time. It is difficult to observe. You cannot see the progress within a very short time. And therefore, when you attend a course which has got everything that you should learn within a span of a few days, like 5 days, you will struggle and you won't really get the benefit of that. A lot of courses out there are built without a framework. They are just a plain sailing through the content about Python. They don't really have a trajectory. And that's really fundamental. They force you to memorize instead of teaching you how to think and provoke yourself into solving problems using the tools and resources that are available. In a lot of challenges, in a lot of training programs, the programming challenges are not fit for purpose. They're either too easy and give you a false sense of confidence, or they're too difficult that they are way outside of your grasp. And what you really need is a set of problems that progressively get difficult and that give you a good experience. Another problem with a lot of courses is they don't emphasize having the right IDE setup from the beginning. And without the right IDE setup, then it's very difficult to make progress. So we have even set up a separate program called Breaking the Setup Barrier. And this program is designed to help you get started with your IDE because it can be quite intimidating. I'll share more about that right at the end. And in a lot of these training programs, you are on your own, you are isolated, and you don't have any learner support. And the reality is, we learn best together. If you're in a classroom where someone raises their hands and asks a question, then you're able to learn from that person. So, learning is usually a social enterprise. Now, what is TOC? TOC is our framework that we use to teach you programming, not just Python. It's a framework that applies across programming languages that you can put into practice in any language that you're going to use. And I'm going to show you some examples of how TOC makes things plain. But first of all, what is TOC? TOC is about types, operations, and constructs. These are the three building blocks of any programming language, whether it's a language like Python or C or C++, Java, Haskell, R. All programs are built on these three ideas: types, operations, and constructs. Types are the ways of representing entities in the real world. Those could be as simple as numbers. They could be as complex as objects when you do object-oriented programming. Operations are the manner in which types interact with other types, either similar types or other types, different types. These could be as simple as arithmetic operations, concatenation of operations, or methods which you would write yourself if you're doing object-oriented programming. So these two really go together. Types and operations go together. And every programming language will have constructs. Constructs are the syntactical structures, the syntactical expressions that accomplish various kinds of activities. For example, if you want to carry out branching or looping, if you want to have context, if you want to write classes, if you want to structure your modules, then there are constructs within every language. And understanding the generic structure of these constructs takes you a long way in being able to debug your code and figure out the syntax correctly, as well as express things that you want to do. So this is what TOC is as an overview. Why don't we look at a number of examples of TOC in action? Well, here are some simple examples from Python. On the left of your screen, we have integers and integer operations, numeric operations, which are the standard arithmetic operations that you're familiar with. And then strings. Strings are a very powerful type, and strings are usually very rich. So a very simple thing you may want to do is to concatenate variables into strings. And Python provides this using the F string. Another very important type within Python is a container type called a list. And the list is just used to have a sequence of numbers. And here the operation is provided through a method called the extend method. So you can write an extend and which joins two strings together. Similarly with dictionaries, dictionaries are a type of container where you can choose what your reference will be, which is called a key. And again, there are operations like this update operation here. You can delete from a dictionary, or you can get the length of a dictionary, just like you could with a list. So these are simple examples. Why don't we look at something complex, which will be relevant for the workshop that is coming up very soon. And these are classes. Classes are a way in which you can write your own types. But then to do that, you need a construct called a class construct, which uses the def construct to write methods. So here we have a type, which we are calling the SQLite adapter, which borrows from another type called a persistence adapter. And we have all these things working together to create this new type, okay? Here's an example from another language. So in C, you have types like unsigned characters or integers, or you have pointers, NumPy pointers. And the operations we have here are these functions that create new objects or cast a particular type to a particular, to have a certain type. Or here we are creating a new array from simple new data. Again, these are all operations. We have a pointer operation there. We have a comparison operator there. And finally, we have a construct, the while construct, which runs an indefinite loop on a certain set of data. So these are examples. Now, let me tell you about the workshop that we'll be running, and it's about object-oriented programming. We're going to give a very simple introduction to object-oriented programming, where we will emphasize concepts, the key concepts behind object-oriented programming. What we have is designed a very interesting use case where we will play with what seem like really innocent concepts, really innocent objects, but which glue together produce something which is quite sophisticated. So this will be the topic of the next workshop. We'll be dealing with object-oriented programming in Python, and we have a lovely work set to work through to give you a good foundation in understanding Python object-oriented programming. About the workshop, so this workshop is live in person. We do not do virtual for these workshops. We want people to come together like you saw at the beginning, and we want you to be a part of an amazing and supportive community. We're going to provide an excellent ambience throughout the day. There'll be tutorial support throughout. I'll be present, giving you support wherever you need. We're going to do a lot of emphasis on good coding habits. Coding is one of those things that if you start off with bad habits, it's very easy for you to later on get stuck in trying to get rid of those bad habits. So we want to emphasize good habits right from the get-go. And finally, we want you to learn to make new friends. So we are a community. As we said, learning is a social enterprise, and we want you to come and enjoy that. So let's do the big reveal now. When is this going to happen? What is the capacity? How many places are there? Well, it's going to be on Saturday, the 11th of October, 2025, from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a full-day event at Kileleshwa Covenant Community Church. We have 10 places available. If you're interested, please join us for this workshop. And this is what it's going to cost you. Up to Friday, the 26th of September, the price is going to be a 50% discount of 12,500 shillings. And if you want to come, if you try to register after that, it's going to go up to 20,000. And for the last week, it'll go up to 25,000. So please book using the information on your screen and join us for this workshop. Now, as I said, we have an event where on Monday, the 15th of September, if you've been struggling to get started, and the problem has not been that you don't know how to code or that you're not passionate enough how to develop your skill, but that your setup has just been so confusing. And that's usually how it is with IDEs. IDEs are usually fully fledged applications which have got so many options. And if you want to overcome this problem, then please join me for this workshop where it's a 2-hour live session, and I'll help you set up an IDE, which is a gold standard, and connect it properly with Git and GitHub. We're going to run through some examples and just make sure that everything is working correctly. And I can even give you some exercises for you to start off with. But join me for this 2-hour live session on Monday, the 15th of September, 2025, from 8 to 10 p.m. So book your place now and join me for the workshop. I'm just going to show you the details again. It's going to be on Saturday, 11th of October. We'll be talking about object-oriented programming in Python. If you have always struggled with object-oriented programming, this has been the bane of your coding experience. If you've struggled with it, if you've never mastered it, then why not join us, learn about the core constructs, learn about inheritance and how to play around with that, and learn how to do polymorphism. That's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to show you some interesting tips and tricks on how to work with OOP in Python. So bye for now, and I'm going to see you at the workshop. Make sure you share this with your friends and invite them. Thank you very much, and bye.